to tell television crews who would come out here, please don't photograph my house. Please, oh please, don't do that. Obviously I don't want a lot of people coming out here. It's a private residence, not a tourist location. But it finally was on NBC. It was on just about every network you can imagine. And my house has been splashed across every newspaper and so I finally said, "Out of the hell with this." And I went out and took a photograph myself of my own house and put it up on my website. It's up there now at www.artbell.com. Finally, I threw up my hands and I said, "That's it. I might as well post it myself. What the hell?" And so it's up there. And I got an email from somebody today and said, "Hey, Art, I've got a much better picture of your house than you do." So I guess they're going to send it to me. If it's better, I'll post that. Also, one additional item, and that is when I was in Vancouver filming the episode of Millennium, I had the opportunity, of course, to spend a great deal of time with the director of Millennium, with the star of Millennium, Lance Hendrickson, and Thomas Wright, the director. Bless his patient heart. I'm sure that after he worked with me for a time, he would smile and say, "You're doing great," and go in the back room and probably bat his head up against the wall. And then Lance Hendrickson, who's the star of Millennium, who's a great guy, really cheered me on. And I sat there and screwed up my lines. But there's photographs of all of that up on the website as well, www.artbell.com. Just thought I'd let you know that's all up there. Back now to Speaking Wind. You're back on the air again, my friend. Welcome back.
Thank you, Art.
So the fourth and the fifth world being the return to the garden, but somehow I have this distinct feeling that before whoever is to make it to the fifth world makes it, there's going to be an awful lot of changes in the world we have now, and a lot of people are not going to make it. And what kind of prophecies can you tell us about that lay ahead for us? I mean, that really is pretty much what everybody wants to know, and I know there's a lot of Native American prophecy, and we would appear to be in that time now. I could be wrong about that, but it sure looks like it's here now.
It's here now, Art. It isn't anything that's going to happen or that might happen one day. It started.
Yep.
Like I said, the final Earth cleansing of Earth began in June of 1998. In September of this year, the five brothers, we call them the planets, aligned themselves to usher in the cleansing energies of the Earth. And the chaos everyone has been anticipating, or the tearing away of the illusion and the lie, will begin between January and April of 1999.
January and April
of 1999. And that will continue to escalate until the nine brothers of the planets align themselves on the 5th of May, 2000. And from that date until the last day of the fourth world, which is December 22nd, 2012, everything living will undergo a purge. And if we're not willing to willingly let go of the illusion and the lie, it's going to be stripped away.
Well, when you say the illusion and the lie, what do you mean?
The illusion comes from believing in others rather than yourself, and the lie tells us we have the right to judge others as good or evil or right or wrong. And that's basically it. We're raised with that from the time our feet touch the earth. And for so many of us, we leave the earth not ever knowing who we are or understanding we're created out of love, and that our true nature is to be loving and nurturing, not destructive.
And yet we are so destructive. We are so destructive.
Very much so. And if you've ever looked from a clinicist's point of view in the psychological arena of human behavior patterns and the ability of expressing oneself, when an individual is very frustrated, they have a very difficult time getting to any of the root causes of their problems. They tend to acquiesce toward the symptoms instead of actually what is really the root of this thing. And it's almost like history has shown us that we've been treating symptoms of love and the love we were created with, instead of looking for that love and nurturing it within ourselves. We look for it from somebody else, and when somebody else doesn't meet our expectations, which we don't even know what they are most of the time, then it becomes wrong, and we just muddle things up. But as far as the other things that are going to happen
Yes, sir.
between now and 2012, the polar ice caps are melting right now at an alarming rate. And soon the coastlines are going to rise by more than 65 feet. And
65 feet.
the ring of volcanoes in the Pacific Ocean are coming back to life. This is causing Antarctica and the polar caps to melt as well.
65 feet. That would mean no New York,
65 feet, Art.
no L.A., no San Diego, no San Francisco, no Seattle, no anything on the coast.
Pretty much. And when you look, the preponderance of systemic logic from the scientists today tell us that, yeah, there are big chunks of ice in Antarctica melting off, like one that was, I believe, the size of Rhode Island that
Yes.
hit the ocean.
Yes, sir.
And they said that if you take a glass of water and put ice cubes in it and watch the ice melt, as the ice melts, the water level doesn't go up. But that is predicated on the assumption that the ice is already in the water. These ice packs are not in the water yet. There are, all over the world, there are earthquakes, floods, strange diseases, and food shortages.
All of that is going on.
And it's going to even be more prominent within the next 3 years. And some of the other things that are taking place. They speak of 2, 5, and 9 brothers that will align themselves, and when they do, it signals the end is near. But the 2 brothers, let me start with those. In 1996, they surfaced in the ocean. In short, they're a bonded set of bacteria that, once introduced into the tissue of any living thing, results in its ultimate death if not treated. And I don't know if you've read about it, but people swimming in the oceans off of California and Florida, they've been contacting this disease.
They've been, well, I know that they've been contracting these sores.
Yes.
These sores on their body. Yes, I know about that.
And if not treated, it's fatal. Now, this bacteria, it enters the body through any cut or any scrape, any place that allows it passage into the bloodstream. And then
That's correct.
once inside, it takes root and begins destroying red blood cells. And the bacteria multiply so fast, the white blood cells can't keep up with them. In a matter of a few days, if they're not treated, ultimate death. But that's just the beginning. Once this bacteria has been seen in the oceans, it will have already infected the fresh water supply all over the world, and by then it'll have mutated into another form. And this new form of bacteria causes deformities among all newborns. Remember what we saw about the frogs?
Oh, yes.
Okay, it's also happening among the plants and the humans, too. Then in September of 1998, the 5 planets made their appearance, which ushered in the 5 planets that aligned themselves with the Earth to the Sun. And they opened up the next big bunch of energy that started coming in, one that set into motion a worldwide purge for all living things. This is partially responsible for the hostility of the memory loss, the agitation, the depression, but it's necessary in order for one to recognize their freedom of choice.